Creative bestie, I need to tell you something that's going to change the way you talk to yourself. That thing you keep calling procrastination, I don't think that's what it actually is. I don't think it's laziness. I don't think it's poor discipline. And I don't think you're just not a finisher. I think it's fear wearing a really, really good disguise. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what that disguise looks like. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Not in your creative life, and honestly, not anywhere else either.
Now, before we get into the actual video, I first want to go over some of the things I'm going to be using on this art journal page. So I got some of my color pencils, and I'm going to be using this Faber-Castell pen. And these are just some simple things that I'm going to be using. And I actually pulled out this Jelly Roll pen, but I ended up not using it. And as a matter of fact, I ended up not even using some of the color pencils that I pulled out. I changed the color up a little bit. This page is going to be a very easy and simple page to make. The only thing that I was thinking about when I was making this page is I just wanted to get my hands moving. So I don't care if my circles are full circles. I just wanted to get out of my head and just create. So again, I hope you enjoy this page. I hope that you make this page, and let's get into my story. See, here's the thing. I used to be so hard on myself about the stuff I put off. I tell myself I was lazy, undisciplined, not serious enough about my own creativity to actually follow through. But then I started paying attention to when I actually put things off. And it was never the stuff that didn't matter to me. It was always, and I mean always, the stuff that mattered the most. It was the painting I cared the most about finishing. The ideas I was most excited to bring to life. Those were the ones that sat untouched the longest. So to give you an example, I had a picture that I wanted to paint of a hummingbird. This is probably like around maybe my third month in art school. So I'm still freshly, I'm new to everything. And this was around the same time that they had just introduced the oil paint to us. And that just got me thinking, like, why did I just stop? Why was I procrastinating? So getting back to the story, I'm like, wait a minute, that's backward. If I really didn't care about it, I wouldn't feel anything about not doing it. I just forget about it and move on. But I wasn't forgetting, I was avoiding. So something else had to be going on underneath that. Fear doesn't usually show up saying, I'm scared. It's a lot sneakier than that. If it showed up honestly, we'd catch it right away and deal with it. So instead, it puts on a disguise. It shows up as, I don't have time for it right now. It shows up as, I need to research a little more before I start. It shows up as, I'll start this weekend once things calm down a bit. Every single one of those things feels true in the moment you say it. That's exactly what makes it such a good disguise. It doesn't feel like a lie. It feels responsible. See, one of my disguises is, I'll get to it later. It ain't that I don't have time. It's always, I'll get to it later. I'll start next weekend. I'll start tomorrow. Procrastination is something serious in my life. So what's yours? And once you know which one is yours, you can't say it to yourself the same way again without hearing what it really is. Honey, here's why we fall for the fear trap every single time. Fear disguised as I'm busy doesn't feel like fear. It feels reasonable. It feels responsible even. Nobody questions you when you say, I'm just really busy right now. People nod. They get it. But if you say it loud, I'm scared to start this, that would feel a whole lot harder to hide behind. People might actually ask why. You might actually have to sit with the answer yourself. So the disguise isn't just fooling other people. It's protecting you from ever having to admit what's really happening, even to yourself. My middle daughter, I have 3. So my middle daughter, that's the one that calls me out the most. That's the one, I can't get nothing past her. I can say, yeah, I got to make that YouTube video, or I got to go, I need to be doing something, whatever it is, dealing with my business. And I'm quick to say, oh, I'll get to it later. And I'm just talking out loud, talking to myself. And she'll be like, why? Go do it now. What's stopping you from doing it now? And it's like, I'm thinking to myself, look, girl, go sit down. So as long as the disguise holds, You never have to look at what's underneath it, which means it never gets smaller. It just sit there waiting for the next chance to run the same play. That got me thinking about what this fear is actually protecting me from, because it's not death. It's not real danger. It's usually something a lot smaller and a lot sneakier than that. The fear of starting something and it not being good. The fear of being seen trying and then trying not even being good enough. And here's the thing about fear like that. It doesn't go away just because you ignore it. It doesn't get bored and leave. It just get louder every single time you avoid it, because avoiding it teaches it that avoiding works. So I had to ask myself, okay, what is my real fear underneath my procrastination? And what it boiled down to, it was being seen trying and it not being good enough. Now, once I came to that realization, I was like, okay, Mika, you onto something. You onto something, girl. This needed a face. It needed a name. Something I could actually point to instead of just feeling it wash over me every time I sat down to create. So I gave it one. Creative bestie, I want you to meet somebody. This is MIBBI. MIBBI lives in the exact gap between wanting to create and actually doing it. Every hesitation, every I'll do it later, every let me think about it a little more, that's MIBBI getting fed. The more you avoid, the bigger he gets. And the bigger he gets, the louder that freeze feels the very next time you try to sit down and create. But here's the good part. You cannot shrink MIBBI by fighting him. You can't out-argue fear, and you can't think your way out of it. You can only shrink him one way, by creating, while he's still standing there. So I want to tell you something. After I named MIBBI, after I gave this fear, this procrastination, this avoidance, after I gave it a name, it helped. It was like, now I get to put things off on him. So when I catch those moments where I'm procrastinating or whatever the case may be, I'll say, okay, MIBBI, leave me alone, not today. And I go ahead and get it done. So yeah, MIBBI gonna stay small now that, well, no, let me take that back. Because there are days and there are moments and there are times when MIBBI is gonna grow, because I'm not perfect. And that's not my aim. However, my aim is to make sure that I always come back to my creativity to make MIBBI smaller. We don't want MIBBI having diabetes. So now that you've met him, what do you actually do? It's not complicated, but it does take practice. So in your case, name it. If you don't want to name yours MIBBI, fine, name it something else. But next time you catch yourself saying, I don't have time, stop and ask, is that MIBBI talking, or is that actually true? 9 times out of 10, you'll know the answer immediately. Second, don't wait to feel brave before you start. You don't shrink fear by feeding ready first and then acting. You shrink it by making one small mark anyway, while you're still scared, while it's still uncomfortable. Every page you finish, even the messy ones, especially the messy ones, that's you shrinking MIBBI a little more.
Creative bestie, you are not lazy and you are not undisciplined. You just been letting fear wear a disguise you never questioned before today. Now you know his name. Now you know what he wants. For you to stay still. Don't give him that. Look, subscribe, because we're going deeper into this every week. And drop a comment below. What's MIBBI been whispering to you lately? Alrighty, we are done today. Now go make something.